called Sanatana Dharma. Okay? In the original context, we never had anything called a religion. It was called Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means a standardized set of guidelines, rules, how to live a clean life, how to live a human life. Make sense? So it was just recommendation. There was nothing like, if you don't wake up at 5:30, then God. What happened with the internet? Yeah, okay. Is the internet on? Cool. Okay. So that was Sanatana Dharma. So when you say Sanatana Dharma, is not about some kind of encrypted, irrelevant mantras, and you constantly chant some mantras that nobody understands. It's not. It's not a collection of mantras and slokams and stuff like that you don't find relevance in today's world. It involves everything from mathematics, science, astronomy, astrology, name it, it has got into it. Medicine, yoga, which is related to fitness. It is massive, and you need more than one lifetime to understand it. So the system is relying upon something called a Guru Parampara. A Guru Parampara is the place where you always learn from a teacher orally, and the teacher explains the concepts to you so that you have authentic information in what you learn, because you don't want to be learning from some unauthenticated source and develop wrong ideas or wrong impression or wrong practices. Correct? So that is number one. Number two, in our system, the concept of God is primarily talking about that Paramatma, the Brahman. It could mean the whole cosmos with the black space, black matter, and the stars and planets and the galaxies that you are aware of. You have a Jivatma. There is something in you that continuously keeps you going for a certain number of years, right? Right from the moment you are born, tick, 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 the meter is on, non-stop. Whether you sleep, whether you swim, whether you run, whether you watch a movie, whether you play a sport or play guitar, that is on. Do you agree? So, that soul within you is a part of that Paramatma called Jivatma. So, if the Paramatma is a big identity, don't use the terms like thing and stuff like that. So, if the Paramatma is a big identity, you are a small portion of it. So, when you are born, you come to this earth, you live a human life. When your time to pass away, you will merge with the Paramatma. If you have led a clean life, if you have committed more sins than earning credits, good karma, you are given 7 opportunity to be born again as a human being. Come on, settle your score, settle your score, settle your score. Got it? So I use the term karma. Karma means the credit that you get or the debit that you get based on the type of actions that you do or whatever you do. You can speak, you can act, whatever you do. They're called karma. So if I go and donate $5 to somebody, I'm doing charity. I earn good karma because I help somebody else live a life. I feed somebody. I open the door for somebody. They're all good karmas. You steal from somebody, bad karma. You deprive somebody of their rights, bad karma. You get into a fight, bad karma. So there's a system. That is what Sanatana Dharma says. Do this, don't do this. It is not restrictive. It is recommendational. Third, when we talk of male, female, boys, girls, the gender is only for us mortal human beings, people like us. So, although we classify gods and goddesses as male and female, in principle, based on what I told you, you cannot have a black matter that is male and black matter that is female, right? So, there, when you talk of male and female goddesses, we talk of the energies and the reflection of those energies. They have a masculine nature or a feminine nature. Got it? So don't mix it up with us human beings. Unfortunately or fortunately, us human beings are taught right from childhood with the notion of a gender discrimination based on physical appearance. As you learn more and more things in our system of Sanatana Dharma, you will understand that concept is very limited. The more you enlighten yourself, the more you will know that this is all Maya, or you don't need to get caught into this male female stuff and boy girl stuff or kids adult stuff, rich poor stuff. They really mean nothing. Because if you are part of that big God, I am part of the big God, he is part of the big God. We are all part of the same God, right? So how can I be more superior to you or her? Doesn't make sense. So having said this, there is one more thing that you need to understand. We all have something called energy source that is inactivated in our body. Okay, I will not go into the details of those concepts to scare you or confuse you. It is sufficient for you to know that the energy is there in your body as soon as you come into this world. Nobody pays attention to it, nobody does anything. There are people who just die without even knowing that they have that energy. But there are some who want to get out of the cycle of birth and rebirth. I don't think our life is full of roses. We go through pain, sorrows, anxiety, depression, so on and so forth. Correct, Brinda? And if you give me a choice, I don't want to go through this cycle over and over again. Get me out of this loop. Merge me with that Paramatma, the big God. Right? Then the story ends there. For this, you need to first elevate this energy from where it is to much higher levels, which means your knowledge will increase. You will realize brain power and capacity that you've never even been able to think about. You will start feeling things. Are you familiar that there are sound waves that exist around you, but you are not designed to hear the sound waves? How many of you know that? Brinda? Okay. Are you aware that there are stuff that you can't see that other animals can see? Because the spectrum of rays that your eyes are designed to see is a narrow spectrum compared to what exists out there. Do you agree? The same way, your brain has got capacity that you have not even understood or realized. But when you rise this energy up, you get those capabilities as a human being, which you thought you cannot ever do. For example, it could be super memory, that you remember every damn second of your life, which today seems impossible, right? So, why I'm giving this introduction is, concept of Trinity comes from the concept of birth, the evolution, sustenance, and destruction or dissolution. Okay? You're born, you come into the world, you keep growing as evolving, and you sustain for a certain number of years, and then you pass away. That means you die. And in our system, the body is burnt. We don't cremate. Body is burnt. We don't bury. Sorry, we cremate, but we don't bury. It is burnt. And that is because of the system that the matter that all you see around you is made of primarily 5 elements. How many of you have heard that? Panchabhutas, all of you. Can anyone name that? Chalo Vihar, if you're aware, speak up. Correct. Will you believe that your body is made up of these 5 elements? You do. Good. So that means some of you are attending Chinmaya pretty sincerely. So Harini, do you believe? To a certain extent, I still need evidence, right? Right. Brinda and Bharat? Good. Have you ever sensed, you are familiar with the moon revolving around the earth, right? The waning moon, waxing moon, whole concept of 15 days cycle. You're aware of all this stuff. You're aware of high tides and low tides in the sea. Okay. Have you ever observed what happens to you when that waning and waxing of moon happens? Never. Study a little bit about it. It can impact your mood swings. That is because all of this whole planetary system movement is on gravitational forces. When you say gravitational forces, it talks about magnetism. Your body is made up of a significant percentage of water. So, just like the movement of the moon creates those high tides and low tides in the sea, which is full of water, your body also gets impacted. Okay? So now, bringing to the pertinent question, if you don't even know what is in your body, what your body is made up of, what it responds to, like if I show a big flashlight on your face, will you keep looking at it? The natural reaction is like this. You don't want to hurt your eyes. So that means you know it and so you are able to respond. What if you don't know there are things that are happening to you that is hurting you? Isn't it bad? Sorry? Correct. So, part of the objective of Sanatana Dharma is a system where we have used extensive utilization of sound as a concept by way of mantras and shlokas is to neutralize those effects that we don't know. So if you're not familiar, the best thing is to be proactive, right? I don't know whether I'm getting impacted or not. I would rather keep chanting these mantras and build a security net around me that I'm not going to get negatively impacted. Do you agree? Isn't it a smart thing to do? Second, even if you don't get impacted, maybe your chanting is going to help other people that are impacted. And when you create sound waves, it not only impacts you, it also impacts people around you. Right? So you may be doing a big service to other people that are not knowledgeable or not capable of chanting these things. So yeah. So the Trinity is the three gods, not special people or special stuff. It is the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Brahma's responsibility is for creation, Vishnu is for sustenance and evolution, and Lord Shiva for destruction or dissolution. Each of them have a cohort. So Brahma's cohort is, consort is Saraswati. Vishnu's consort is Lakshmi. Shiva's consort is Parvati. Got it? Again, don't look at them as three males and three females, husband and wife. That is all for the sake of understanding. You can understand them as masculine force and feminine force. All three of them, all six of them have emanated from one single source. Correct? It is just like you as Harini sometimes will be performing the role of a daughter, sometimes will be performing the role as a friend, sometimes will be performing the role as a sister, or as a cousin, as a student, as a teacher. It's the same Harini. You don't find 10 Harinis or 20 Vrindas, right? But how will I know whether I'm talking to student Harini or sister Harini or daughter Harini? So in order to avoid confusion, they have been given different names. Got it? Cool. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, Ambar is also known by the name Sri Lalita Tripura Sundari. What is the name? Right. Meaning of that, if you understand the meaning, you can remember the name. Lalita means happy. Maha, anything related to these gods are grand. Everything is grandeur in scale, big scale, not mean it's small. Maha. Tripura. Do you know how many worlds exist? There are 14 levels. We are at the 7th level on earth. Okay. So she is Sundari means beauty. So she is the most beautiful lady or goddess across all lokams. Mainly Tripuram, all the 3 lokas. Got it? Which means she has got the power to create, sustain, and destroy. So when you learn Durga Saptashati or Devi Mahatmyam, the meaning means Mahatmyam. You sing praise, aeons of the Devi. That is what is Devi Mahatmyam. It is also called Chandi part in northern India. Chandi is another form of Durga. Chandi is called Chandi Mahalakshmi. She was created for the purposes of destroying all the demons and the evils. So various chapters are talking about different asuras or demons being killed. Got it? We are not going to go into all the details of Devi Mahatmyam. This is part of Markandeya Purana, in case somebody wants to know it. And Saptashati, Sapta means 7, Shati means 100. It says there are 700 shlokas. Seriya? Now I am going to give one last information and we'll get to the chanting. Devi Mahatmyam is supposedly consisting of 700 shlokas, which has got encrypted Bija Aksharams. Bija means seed, Aksharam means letters. Bija Aksharams. Om, you have heard of Om? Okay. Ain, they are all Bija Aksharams. They are encrypted across the 700 shlokas in a certain order, sequence, etc. etc. Purpose is, if I start the first shloka and go all the way up to 700 shlokas, it is supposed to create an effect equivalent to the most modern form of neurosurgery called deep brain stimulation. Can somebody repeat it? Stimulation. If you have a tumor in the brain, if you have some other problem, in good old days there was no solution because they will break open the skull. Your entire skull will be cut and broken open. And then they will carefully touch something, but they will not remove the entire tumor. They will say surgery performed. After some time it will regrow and it will be a mess. And if you are all familiar, if you are science students, you will know once you open the skull, there is a cerebrospinal fluid which has to be maintained in a very sterile condition. You cannot allow it to get infected, then you are done, finished. So today's technology doesn't need the skull opening. Based on if you have a speech problem, if you have a vision problem, if you have motor problem, like hand movement, leg movement, they know which part of the brain is triggering that. So they can drill a hole, insert an electrode straight into that center, give external electrical pulses to cure those diseases. Don't you think it is very advanced? So the effect of that deep brain stimulation surgery is what you will find if you just chant Devi Mahatmyam. Does it sound more interesting than where you started today? That my mom and dad have not just put me in some sloka that I don't even know why I'm chanting, what is the benefit, etc. This is the context very clearly understood. Okay. So when we talk of deep brain stimulation, I'm sure all of you are senior enough, adult enough to understand If the electricity in the wall is supposed to give 110 volts, and you attach a device that is designed for 110 volts, suddenly that outlet gives you 440 volts, what will happen? It will destroy the device. It can catch fire. It can bring the house down. And if you as a person is trying to plug something in, that high voltage can cause severe problems to you. So it is very important that the voltage or the sound or the decibel levels remain in the sequence the way it is supposed to be. So if the voltage of the current goes up, the electrical impulse in a deep brain stimulation surgery is going to go haywire. Instead of killing the tumor in the brain cell, it will kill the brain itself, right? Hence, apply the same concept here. If I say, Om, and you do something like, Om, or Am, will it have the same effect? No. So, you need to be very clear and perfect in how to chant the aksharas, e, u, all of those things. Then you have to maintain the shruti. Since most of you are music learners, I don't have to worry about it, right? If I start Om Shiva Shakti Samarambham Bhaskaracharya Madhyamam, you're not going to repeat it by saying Shiva Shakti Samarambham Bhaskaracharya Madhyamam. You will repeat in the same shruti. If I chant at a particular speed, you will maintain the same speed. So, Akshara Shuddhi is important. When I say Aksharam, my pronunciation has to be exact because it creates sound waves. Instead of Aksharam, if I say Aksaram, does it have the same impact? So the Aksharam has to be very clearly chanted. Second, Shruti. You can't scream, you can't mumble. Maintain it. Second, third, you can't rush. Savarne Suri Tariyo Yo. Did you feel anything at all? You won't. Instead, if I chant Savarne Surya Tanayo Yo Manokatyate Shtamaha, you feel there is divinity in the chanting. Correct? So, Layam, Shruti, everything has to be maintained. Finally, if you are in a group, you need to be in sync. Are you all part of the school band? Yes? No? So you're not part of the orchestra? Okay, but you have watched the orchestra ever? You have a conductor. Suppose the conductor is not there. Will you sit for even 2 minutes in that orchestra? You cannot. Right? Somebody is blowing a trumpet, somebody is blowing a flute, somebody is beating the drum and cello. It is called, in English term, what is it called? Cacophony. You understand the meaning of cacophony? You don't want to create that. You want to create that divine sound, divine vibrations, which is the main purpose of chanting. Chiriya? Any questions? Stop me. Do you need a water break or something else quickly? Or can we continue? You can continue, right? Speak up. Don't be afraid. This is going to be fun. We are not appearing for some surgery or in an operation theatre. So speak up. When we are learning, we'll be serious. When we are talking, we can have fun. Chiriya? So we always start with the Dhyana Shlokam, where we seek permission and blessings from certain gods before we get into the crux of it. So Bharat, you want to chant with me? And Vihan, if you have learned, you can also chant. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatikam Avamahe Kavim Kavena Upashavastavam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shanmano Divasi Sadanam Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvajini Veena Mavitrevato Maha Saraswati Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Sarvalokanam Vishajay Bhavaroginam Diye Sarva Vidyanam Sri Dakshina Murti Namaha Smin Guru Charanarvindabhyam Namaha व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतादं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमामस्मत् श्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So you pay your respects to the few gods, Vigneshwara, that there should be no obstacle in your learning or chanting. Saraswati, because she is the goddess of knowledge and speech. So whatever comes out of your mouth has to be good. You pay your gratitude to your gurus that are teaching you. Guru means I am not the only person, it is my guru, his guru and guru's guru, the parambara. Okay? That is how you start. So what I am going to teach you is something called Devi Kavacham. Kavacham means you chant this to put a ring of protection around you at all times. Can someone repeat what I said? Correct. So if you are sitting at home all by yourself, mom has gone out, dad has gone out, nobody is at home, suddenly you hear noises. It creates a sense of fear in you, correct? There's a lot of thunder, there is darkness, it creates fear in you. You start chanting this. The fear will go away. Make sense? Ambal's protection is there to all of us. So first one is Asya Shri. You have to repeat it two times. Asya Shri. Yeah, Harini, repeat it the second time. Correct. Also, when I correct you, don't feel bad, don't feel ashamed or embarrassed, because once you are corrected, you become smart and knowledgeable. So that's the advantage, right? So take it in a very sporting fashion. Don't carry grudges or negative feelings. Stay focused on what you're learning. Chandi Kavachasya. Did you notice the difference in one of the letters, the way I pronounced it? Which one? No, D. It is Dhirgam. Chandi. So that brings to the concept of matras. A matra, one matra is something like a snap of a finger or a blink of an eye. That is the duration. Don't say 1 second, 1 nanosecond, 1 minute, etc. That's a different unit of measure. One blink of an eye or like this is one matra. So, a, one matra. A is two matra. E, one matra. E is two matra. Correct? So, Chandi. So, cha in will become cha one in one. D is two. So, the time that you use to deliver that akshara will vary. Cha will be one matra. In will be one matra. D will be two matras. So, all in all, that word will take four matras. Agreed? So, Asya Shri Chandi Kavachasya. Good. Brahma Rishihi. Okay, can you all see my finger here? Can you keep your fingers like that and show me? Show me in the camera. Correct. Vrinda? Good. Bharat, Siryapada, good. So you're going to keep this front portion, which is here, right, on your head or heart or wherever it is. So, Asya Shri Chandi Kavachasya. Then when you say Brahma Rishihi, say Brahma Rishihi. Good. Put your palm like this, slightly curved, and keep it in front of the mouth. Anushtup Chandah. Super. Super. Then heart. Chamunda Devata. Same way. The kai இப்படி இருக்கணும். கை இப்படி இருக்கணும். அந்த கை சாமுண்டா தேவதா. Good. The next word is anga nyasa ukta. 3 words combined. Another word anga nyasa ukta. When it is combined, it becomes anganyasokta. Correct. Super. One more time. Mataro bijam. Chetpo. Anganyasokta mataro bijam. Correct. So when you say that, you have to keep your hand here. This is my right side. Because I'm seeing the front camera, it will appear opposite, but this is my right side. So can you put your finger here, right side? Yeah, right in the chest area. Not shoulder, not ribs, the chest area. Right? அதே மாதிரி திக்பந்த தேவதா சொல்லும்போது லெஃப்ட் சைடில் சக்தி வரத்தை இந்த பக்கம் வரும். கரெக்டாக? ஸோ திக்பந்த தேவதா தத்துவம். So do you see 2 columns there? Sorry, a colon with 2 dots after Devata. So if you chant it, என்ன செய்ய? எங்கேருந்து? சரி. Now this particular part I will try to type it myself and give it to you. So don't worry about it. Just repeat after me. Right? So தேவதாக்கு அப்புறம் இந்த 2 டாட்டுக்கு பேர் விசர்கான பேர், கோலோன். When I say chant it separately, I will say devataha. But when I chant it along with this part of the shlokam, it has to be combined with the next word. So it will become devatas tattvam, isvarna. Got it? So digbandha devatas tattvam. கையை வச்சுன்னு சொல்லுங்க லெஃப்ட் சைடில். சூப்பர். இப்போ கையை எப்படி வச்சுக்கணும்? I'm not going to go into the details. There are 4 different places where you keep your hand like this. It has to be nicely pressed against each other. Your knuckle has to be tight like this. Can you see the sideways? There is a projection there. And that has to go into your heart. There is another namas like this, there is another like this, and there is another like this. We have 4 positions depending on for what and who you are showing this hand. Seriya? So here it will come like this. Sri Jagadamba Preetyarthe. The hard. Preetyarthe Saptashati Pathangatvena Jape Viniyogah. Or if you don't want to do that, you can keep it like this. Both are okay. I always do this way, right? So we are going to chant this thing. Hold your hand and chant the full thing in one stroke. Sri Jagadamba Preetyarthe सप्तशती पाठाङ्गत्वेन जपे विनियोगः. Harini, finding it difficult? Oh, okay, fine, fine. Because you don't have the script in front of you. Got it, got it. So, Sri Jagadamba Prityarthe Saptashati Pathangattvena Jape Viniyogah. Good. Now, do you have the next line as Om Namaschandikayai? Do you have the script from there? Harini? No? What's your first line? Okay. Oh, is it a Bhaskar Prakash document? Vihan, did you get it? Page 35. Can you read Tamil? Do you need it, Vihan, if you don't have the script? So can one of you forward it? You can forward it to Vidyut Raj, the name, or Lavanya. Did you get it, Vihan? Okay, fine. Just so you know why I'm yawning is it is morning 5 o'clock in India. I've been up the whole night. Otherwise, I don't like to yawn like this in camera. So obviously my voice is also gruff. So meanwhile, just repeat after me while Bharat is sending it. Om Namaschandikayai Markandeya Uvacha. U clean varno. Uvacha. Cha வந்து ஷார்ட்டாக இருக்கணும். Uvacha. Correct. The cha, the way you pronounce is very important. It should never sound like cha. That can you observe closely? Yeah, chalpa. Kachida veha. So it should not sound like cha. Okay, or cha. ஆவோட ஆட் பண்ணினா vowel ஆட் பண்ணால் cha ஆகிடும். So you're messing up with the meter. When you said Anushtup Chandaha, you're actually defining the meter. Meter means how many syllables are there or how many matras are there in one line. அந்த கணக்கை வந்து டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணக்கூடாது இல்லையா? All of you learn Carnatic music or what music? ஸோ இப்போ ஆதி தாளத்தில் வந்து ரூபக தாளம் போட்டாக்க எப்படி இருக்கும்? You kill the song, right? It won't fit. So அதே மாதிரி meter is very important. இதை மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும். The integrity of the sloka is also driven by the meter. So yadguhyam paramam loke sarvarakshakaram nrunam. See how I'm pronouncing it. N soft arambam. NRU. Nr. Where are you looking at, Vihan? WhatsApp. So what's your email ID? You send it to me, Bharat. I will send it to them. Hey, get Vidyut to you, Vihan. Vidyut, உனக்கு அனுப்பிச்சாக்கா போகுமா? வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணுறது. Take it. Tell me if you received it. கிடைச்சதா? Vidyut? Kachida Vihan. Good. So, how am I pronouncing Nrunam? Nru, N-R-U, Nru. Whereas Rana வந்து மூணு ஸ்வீனா, the hard one. வீணா, அது மாதிரி. Got it? So, Sarvarakshakaram Nrunam. Good. So, Chet சொல்றது यद्गुह्यं परमं लोके सर्वरक्षाकरं नृणाम्. Super. Super. Just chant fearlessly without inhibitions, without holding back. Mistakes are not paraval. As I said, you make 1,000 mistakes, I'll correct it. Patiently, don't worry about it. ஒருத்தரும் பெஞ்சில் இருந்து நின்னுங்கோ இல்லை ஷோ மீ யுவர் ஹேண்ட் அண்ட் கூட கீட் இதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. திஸ் கிளாஸ் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் ஃபன், ரைட்? ஸோ டோன்ட் பி அஃப்ரேட் ஆஃப் மேக்கிங் மிஸ்டேக்ஸ். chant loudly, nicely. அப்போ தான் எனக்கு காதல் விடும். If you are finding it difficult to chant, then I will help you how to chant it. சரியா? Yanna kasyachida khyatam. Did you see how I said khyatam? Khya. There has to be a gush of air from the navi, the belly button. So, yanna kasyachida khyatam. तन्मे ब्रूहि पितामह. चेत् यन्न कस्यचिदाख्यातं तन्मे ब्रूहि पितामह. Super. ब्रह्मोवाच what's the time there now? 8:30, yeah? Okay, so we spent about an hour in the class so far. Okay, so we will stop with this. I don't want to take more time of yours. I also want to keep it small, short, so that you nicely get introduced. Next class, we will go much deeper, right? So let us take about 5 seconds each. We'll start with Harini. Give me your feedback. How did you find the class? What is good? What is working for you? What is not? What do we need to change? Good. So there is no pressure, right? Good. Vihan? Yeah, go ahead, Arni. Okay, very good. Vihan? Good. Bharat? Good. Brinda? Good. So always remember, don't look at the age difference. Don't compare me to your parents. Your parents are your parents. They don't interfere in my teaching. Do you see any parents hanging around you, monitoring you, snooping around you? They won't do it. This is purely your class. The conversation is between you and me. So, no holds barred questions. If I don't have the answer, I will say I don't know. But there is no license or permission required to say you can't and you can ask only certain type of questions. Anything that is relevant, important for you to understand the topic and perform well. It is my job to teach you, and I will teach you. So, the introduction that I gave you in the first 10 minutes is a complex topic that people take about 2000 years to learn. So, you can imagine the extent to which I have summarized it to keep it simple. So, learn the system, understand it better, so that you can speak intelligently with people and you can make intelligent choices. Because whatever probably you know so far could be hearsay about our system, Hinduism and this and that, all of the stuff, right? Through these classes, you will learn the authentic information. And you'll be very proud, you'll be very happy to know that you have the intellectual property. That's what I call these. These are all intellectual properties. Nobody sat and wrote it. We got it. How we got it, we'll talk about it in some other class. So you got to treasure those things and carry on. Just as I'm teaching you, you got to teach to your next generation. Otherwise, they're gone, right? So I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. You're wonderful kids. Your pronunciation was pretty good, and sky is the limit. And Bharat knows the way it works with me is if you're at 0 and you reach 3, the next target is to reach 5. The next target is to reach 7. The next target is to reach 10. We don't stabilize at one level. Oh, now I'm a good performer at 5. There is always scope for improvement, right? And one thing I can assure you, if you absorb the tips that I'm giving you, even when you are made to chant in front of an audience or public, their jaws will drop. They'll be shocked, surprised, pleasantly surprised. How can a kid in the US is able to chant so well? But we are not doing this to impress people. When you chant well, it will give you a nice feeling yourself. So yeah. So great job. I know it's precious for you to take 1 hour away from your schedule. We will see the results of this for sure. But yeah. Take care. Have a good night. So mark your calendars for next week, 7:30. Be online, and we'll continue. And if you feel like posting your experience in the group because it's the first class to motivate others, feel free to do it. Ask your parents to post that message. All right? Take care. Bye.